Hi, friends. Okay, so I want to start by saying I'm not doing a Bible study. I just wanted to hop on and I wanted to share something really, really cool with you guys about faith. And mind you, faith is in my personal opinion, one of the most important things that you will ever grow and develop on your spiritual journey. Because without faith, you have nothing. Okay. Um, I don't care if you are a prayer warrior, if you don't have faith in the prayers that you pray, it doesn't matter, right? Faith are like keys that unlocks doors to whatever it is you are praying for. Okay. Um, Faith saves, it heals, all right, and it's contagious. So my little tiny fur baby went missing. Kittles. He went missing, and this was like last week. Um, and he's only about 3 pounds. And this is a dog that God gave me because I lost my other dog, and I was really, really, really hurt by that. I prayed for this dog, and Abba gave him to me. So the dog goes missing, right? My grandmother accidentally let him out, and we could not find him. It had been hours, and he's never gone missing for that long. I was not necessarily worried about him coming back on his own, as to I was more so worried about something eating him. Where I live, there's a lot of really large birds like owls and hawks. There's a lot of foxes and things of that nature that like to eat little tiny things, like my doggy. So we were worried about him coming back home. My daughter and I were freaking out. We're crying. We're like um praying, God, please bring him back home. We're looking everywhere for him. And my son wouldn't budge. My daughter got really angry at my son. My son is 8 years old. My daughter's 10. And my daughter got really angry. And she's like, why aren't you helping look for the dog? And he was sitting on his phone playing his game. He was playing a little eraser game or something. And he was quite literally ignoring her. And in the moment, all I really care about is finding the dog. I don't have time. I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and like, son, you need to help look for the dog. It's inconsiderate. Like, I don't know. My brain wasn't there. I needed to hurry up and find Kittles. And my daughter's like, ugh. And she leaves him. Like, she stomps off. She comes outside with me. And she's looking for the dog, looking for the dog. We can't find him. A few more hours go by. And on the way home, I pray and I say, God, I'm putting my faith in you. I believe that when I get home, Kittles is gonna come running up the driveway. I'm gonna see him. He's gonna be home. So we get back to the house from looking for him from all over. Like, we're searching everywhere. And I'm like, in my mind, like, there's no way possible. Like, he could have made it as far out as we're searching at this point. So we get back to the house, and before I shut my door, my little puppy comes running up the driveway. I got out the car and I turned around and looked. And before I even closed the door all the way, my little tiny dog was already like coming up the driveway. And I'm like, glory be to God. Thank you so much, Abba. All right, cool beans. Now we get in the house, we have the little dog, and I sit down next to my son and I'm like, why don't you help look for our dog? Like, don't you love him? Like, why, like, what's up with that? And what he said quite literally shook me. It like, just like, ooh, what? Because it was one of the most amazing things. Like, and I love that God blesses us with our children in these ways. God used my son to bless me that day. And what I mean by that is, after I asked him, like, hey, like, what's up with that? Like, why didn't you look for the dog? The child looked me square in the eyes and responded by saying, Mommy, God always comes through. We had already prayed. I wasn't worried about it. I knew he was coming back. There was no point in looking for him. We had asked God to bring him to us. And I'm just like, mind blown. Because was that not the truest thing ever? Like the child made so much sense in that moment. And this is a perfect example of faith and works going hand in hand. In this case, my God, hallelujah. In this case, my son had already prayed to God to bring the dog back home to us. And he trusted and believed that. So his works in this case, involving his faith or his works to meet his faith in this case, was simply a matter of not doing anything but trusting that God was going to bring the dog back home. And the fact of the matter is, he was right, because we had searched and searched and searched and searched and looked and looked and looked and looked and looked, and we never found the dog. But in fact, the dog came right back to us the way that we had prayed. And I don't say that to say that, like, if something, happens, it's not okay to react or anything like that. But in that case, even though I said that I had put my faith in God, right, I kind of really didn't. Because in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, what if something ate him? Why isn't he back yet? Like, he should be back by now. As to where my son was just chilling. The only thing that he would do is occasionally look out the window. During the course of all of the hours that we were looking for the dog, the only thing he would do is go check the window at the door, like the door window, the window that's on our back door. He would only go check there. And I didn't really compute like what he was doing because I was so worried about the dog. My daughter and I were so worried about the dog that even though we prayed, for God to bring the dog back home to us, nobody stayed at the house and waited for the dog to show up. Like, we went out, we're searching, we're looking, and in our minds, we were crying. Like, we were like physically crying, we were worried. And well, when my son said what he said about having the faith and knowing that God was going to come through, it just shook me. Like, my God, that's a whole nother level of faith. That was his faith working, actively working, because he believed that God was going to bring the dog back home. He felt absolutely no need to go out and look. He waited for the dog to come back because he prayed that Kittles will be brought back home. And that absolutely blessed me. It blessed me so much. And y'all, be like the little children, okay? It was just such a beautiful thing. I just kind of wanted to share that just in case maybe it might bless somebody else, because it definitely blessed me in the sense of understanding that there's kind of a difference in saying that we have faith and then actually having it. And I have faith. I have had faith in like some really crazy situations, but it was just a moment that happened that God blessed me, through the mouth of a babe. Okay. So I just wanted to share that. And that's all. So God bless you guys, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye.